Hello, welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. This is Luigi Van 64D. In the last episode, we somehow pulled it around and found out the real murderer. My sis? I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice. So then, she's still alive inside your heart. Nicky boy. Oh, Mr. Light. I mean, is it true the detective is the real killer? To be honest, we don't have any definitive proof. But he's the only one who could have done it. But wasn't he at Lowly Taylor that night? Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Adamy want to kill Kane Bullard? Oops, it's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom. I need to find some solid proof. And it's gonna happen sooner rather than later. Hopefully before anyone else questions that. Now then, let's court is back in session. Mr. Luke Atme, please take the stand. Well, how do you do, Sir Lawyer? I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly. Couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not when it would have given you a perfect alibi. An alibi in the name of Master Mask. I'm sorry. I'm afraid even the great Luke Atme has no idea what you mean. Of course, I have been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there is no way I could have known what's been going on in here. You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Master Mask. Indeed. It's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles my divine finger, for example. So you continue to insist that you are, in fact, Master Mask? Of course! Very well then, look at me. Let us begin with a simple question. On October 12th at 1 a.m., Mr. Kane Bullard was murdered. Where were you at the time? One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge. Thanks? Alright, Mr. Atme. The night of the murder. Speak. We're listening. As you wish, Sir Prosecutor. I was stealing the urn, Master Mask, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turns out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured Master Mask was the same time as the murder. It seems the main point of discussion will be this photo of the crime scene. Everything else up until now is all part of his plan. There has to be a secret to the picture as well. Even the great Master Mask cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you should excuse me, I have a verdict to receive. Unfortunately, Mr. Atme, we still have to do your cross-examination. A fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool. I think he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick. The only thing that's full of it is his alibi. Come on, I know there's a problem here. I was stealing the urn of Master Mask, just as I announced I would. So this photograph is the proof, correct? Indeed it is. And the man in the photo is certainly wearing a mask. That is why I'm called Master Mask. But conveniently, that also means that there is no way to tell who this really is. What do you mean? Objection. Huh. Are you saying that this is not, in fact, Luke Atme? That it could be an accomplice dressed up as Master Mask to create an alibi? Oh, what an interesting idea. Are you saying that I, Lone Wolf Luke, had an accomplice? No. Luke Atme was the KB security during the murder. Then the master mask in this picture has to be a fake. There really was an accomplice, but right now I have no idea who it is. I don't have any idea right now either. Baseless objections are just what this guy wants. There's got to be another way. I'm going to find it. If I throw out random things, it's just going to make me lose credibility. I have more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at some point? That's right. It was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. You sent the calling card to Lily Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the calling card after you began your security watch, right? Indeed. There was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to see my latest target. I say, you truly are evil, aren't you? Yes, evil is what I am. Hey Nick, isn't there something odd about this? Huh? Detective Abney was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lily Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona. You know, that's true. It's kind of odd. A photograph contained no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here? Is that correct? Indeed it is! That it is the very thing that proves that I committed the crime. The very thing that proves you committed the crime. When you think about it, it's really odd. You say that almost as if you had this picture taken on purpose. He was simply caught by the very camera that he had set up. We all have days like that. Indeed, it turned out that there was no such thing as a perfect crime after all. Life is truly an ironic thing, a sad blue melody. Looks like I'd better gather more information for now. If he's truly the killer, there's got to be something phony in that photo. The time at which the camera captured Master Mask was at the same time as the murder. I meant to press that. So this alibi is false? It has to be, or else he couldn't kill, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullard at KB Security. But I'm not really spouting anything unusual. There are two possibilities. Either the Master Mask in the photo is a fake, or the photo itself is. We just gotta prove that. Let's check this one. About the camera that took this photograph. Come now. It's all too clear what you're thinking. Huh? You think I altered the timestamp on the photograph, don't you? I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lily Taylor, and on top of that, it was Lily Taylor's staff that printed that picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered. I see. It looks like I'd better find something else that could be suspicious. Alright, so the suspicious thing. So let's see. Either the Master Mask in the photo is fake, or the photo itself is fake. So how else could he prove this photo is fake? So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here? Is that correct? Indeed it is! That is it! The very thing that proves I committed the crime. The very thing that proves you committed the crime. Surely even you understand by now. Lily Taylor provided the camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed Ken Bullard. Unless I had an accomplice. Come on, think long and hard about that night. The basement warehouse, and the picture that supposedly captures it. It's gotta be here. Isn't there something funny about this picture? There is. You bet there is. Are you implying that the picture is a fake? You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We take a look around the basement warehouse that night, before the theft took place. There's something in the photo that doesn't match the memory of the night. Very well. Let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny? This. The funny part is right here. What? Why is it? Is this a blood stain? Oh, blood. Now this keeps it interesting. Not exactly. This stain's actually pink paint. Oh, just paint. Just being peach colored at that. From blood to peaches. The judge sure loves going on his wild tangents. The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse. It turns out that something should be there is nowhere to be seen. Well, Mr. Wright? What is supposed to be in this picture instead of the painted stains? What's supposed to be here is this statue. The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following. Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime around noon, that gold statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. I myself was there that night when the theft took place, and saw the statue in that spot. If this picture was truly taken on that night, then that statue should have been there. Objection! But when I went there the day after the theft, that statue with the old bag was sitting on the corner. Perhaps there was something pushed there accidentally. Your Honor, the statue is slightly larger than yourself, and quite heavy. It would have taken more than an accidental push to move it to that distance. Ha! In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why the statue was moved that night? Can you do it, Nick? Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it? Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you're prepared with your answer. Now then, who was the one who moved the golden statue that night of the crime? It had to be Luke Atme. Because he's Master Mask. Mask was there. Take that! The one who moved that statue is none other than Luke Atme. Wrong button every time. Come now, Sir Lawyer. There you go again on some of your strange delusions. Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for your strange delusions? It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night. That is indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue? The reason for moving the golden statue. Here's where our battle really begins. Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move the statue? The reason could be found here in this photograph. Luke Atme, you pretended to be Master Mask to create an alibi by showing you were at Lowly Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, your lie would have been exposed in cheap film at a drugstore. This is why you moved the statue. A single fatal flaw? Interesting theory. Please enlighten us. Just where in this picture does the fatal lie exist? This lie exists. This box. The lie is Master Mask. Are you saying that the Master Mask is a fake? Ha! You know, I really wish you would start acting more responsibly. Huh? The current question is, why was the golden statue moved? So what possible connection could there be with the Master Mask's identity? Oh, buggers. Your face has "oh buggers" written all over it. It's a penalty for you. I meant to point at the box. Ask you again. Just where in this picture does the lie exist? The lie. Well, I meant to point at the box, but just gonna choose him. So the lie exists right here in this paint stain. Lie. Keep lying like this, and you'll be the one on trial. Oh man, now they're calling me a liar. The question is, why was the statue moved, right? There was some reason the culprit didn't want the statue in the picture. At least, that's what I thought. I'll ask you again, Mr. Trite. Just where in this picture does the lie exist? Oh, here. Naturally, the lie is in this the photo on the timestamp. What do you mean? I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Luke Adamy went to KV Security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lonely Taylor this time. But what does that have to do with the statue being moved? Remember, if you will, Your Honor, when was the statue placed besides the warehouse door? Well, the statue was taken down in the warehouse the day of the crime, and it was placed there in order to cover up the paint. Exactly. Luke Adamy had already decided the time when he was going to kill the victim. And so, in order to create an alibi for that time, he took his picture days before the murder took place. What the? Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse yet. Ah. So on the day of the crime, Mr. Adamy must have been nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat, the cat in the rocking chair factory, so to speak. Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down in place where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Luke Adamy had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did it to make room to match the way it had been in the photo. Order! Order! Mr. Adamy, is this true? One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this? What's that? With the data for the basement warehouse computer. According to this, the camera indeed go off on the night of the crime. It's true that the camera had been set up by the Lonely Taylor staff. However, the program used to manage the data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the data. Order! Order! Mr. Godot, what is the meaning of this? Godot! I warned you about making me wait. Now put that coffee down. My 11th cup. I promised to drink no more than 17 during the trial. Which means I'm still good till the last drop. However, the defense is a very good point. A good point. So what? We are all the travelers on the road of infinite points. I think you've got your points mixed up with your other points. So you say this photograph was taken ahead of time, and that statue was moved in order to make it match. That's a very interesting idea. However, what's one point that it can't be denied? Which is? That's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe can never reach their dreams. That's very true. No way! Don't fall for that, Your Honor. Hey, Mr. Damask. Yes? If there's no funny business in your actions as Master Mask, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy. So let's hear it. Yes, please provide to the court your testimony about that plan to steal the sacred urn. Ah yes, the urn. I first received the request from Lonely Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn had placed in a box in his body. It was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew that it was extremely valuable treasure, so I sent out my card 10 days beforehand. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. And lastly, I had the urn in my hand for the first time at 1 AM on October 12th. That's pretty much all the stuff we heard before, isn't it? Yeah, but we'll find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information he gave. Witness, you sure there are no mistakes this time? Spotty. Very well then. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. I noticed something odd. I first received the request from Lord Taylor about 20 days ago. You were asked to guard the urn by Miss Andrews, Adrian Andrews. Is that right? Indeed, it seemed that they had heard of my Zwarkling's reputation. I see Miss Andrews is still attracting the weirdos. You better watch out too, Maya. You better watch out too, Maya. The urn was placed in a box in Zvani. It was then sent to the warehouse. You mean this box? Yes, that pathetic box. Lady Andrews was especially taken with that urn. And she wouldn't let anyone into the storeroom, not even me. Huh, interesting new tidbit. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. He never saw the urn? So you're sure that you had never seen the urn before? Indeed. You may ask Lady Andrews to confirm it for yourself. The security was focused entirely on the entrance to that warehouse. However, look at me, and no information whatsoever slipped through my fingers. I knew that it was extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. You mean this calling card? That's right. It is without a doubt my calling card. I guess Mr. Light didn't make this after all. Of course, because Aunt May knew of this emblem. That's why. Making this card authentic would have been child's play to him. He then handled security by myself to ensure that the crime would go smoothly. Then no one entered the basement warehouse. Unfortunately, there were many different treasures being taken there. Thus, for a period of approximately 5 days, people were indeed going in and out of the warehouse. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th. And this is the photo that proves that, huh? Indeed, to be honest, even if a photo was taken, I didn't think it would matter terribly much. Hey, Nick, if this photo was a fake, Detective Abby might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken. That's true. You know, he's been saying that he never saw the urn until that night. If we can prove that he's lying there, we can wrap this up and put a bow on it. I need to take a good hard look at the court record. Huh. Not a lot to go on, is there? That detective's been covering his tracks. There's only one thing we need to prove in this cross-examination. That he took this photo well before the actual night of the crime. Well then, how do we do that? There's the one thing that Amy stated very clearly, that he'd never seen the urn before he stole it. We need to prove that he's lying. And it's actually pretty easy. Let's see. That's why he set the card 10 days beforehand. He knew it was an extremely valuable treasure. Okay. Look at this. I will be coming to purloin the most priceless work of art on display of your Treasures of Karain exhibit. Okay. What? Take good care of the speckled urn, won't you? What? Okay, I see now. Objection! Mr. Atmey, if you really are Master Mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct? But of course! Is there a problem with that calling card? Allow me to read a passage of the calling card that Master Mask has written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now, the speckled here surely refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn. Yes, that is true. But what's the what? Truth be told, there is no way that Master Mask could have known about this pattern. What do you mean? This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains. Paint stains? And these stains did not appear until after the urn has been taken from Lily Taylor. I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Wright. day the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to the human error. Or should I say, an error-prone human. And that was when the pink paint got onto the urn. You can't be serious. And yet this calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means, Detective Atme had seen this urn long before the crime ever took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken. And that's because the photo is a fake. All your alibis and the night of murder no longer holds water. Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself? Yeah. Alright. I did it. He's broken. Nick? I think he's still a little early for a victory pose. Huh? It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days. Conviction, you say? Yesterday, we all had decided unanimously that this man was Master Mask. And now we're calling him a murderer. You don't think we're being a tad fickle? That's a good point. No way! Don't fall for that too, Your Honor. You say Luke Atme was the one who killed Cain Bullard. Let me ask you this. Why would he do that? An excellent point. Recovered? Motive, Mr. Wright. Motive. Might you, my merry murderous motive manifest? Nick, he's gotten a second wind. An alliteration too. You prepared an alibi and pinned his crime for delight, as you say. He must have had a very strong motive for murder. The only one with any motive we've seen is Ron Delight. Isn't that right, Detective? Indeed. According to my own research, the boy's motive is clear. No. Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us to what the defendant's motives were. Thank you, Sir Ultima. They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance. All we gotta do is just prove this one thing. Look at me! Had no points to contact with the victim whatsoever. Cain Bullard decided to investigate Master Mask and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake was quite inexcusable. The defendant truly believes he is Master Mask. That is why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Mr. Cain Bullard. Truly a tragedy. So the victim, Mr. Cain Bullard, blackmailed the defendant. This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. A handwriting test confirms that Mr. Bullard is indeed the one who wrote the letter. What? I'm just finding this out now? Very well, Mr. Wright, begin your cross-examination. Come on, there has to be something. Anything. Look at me, I had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. And who in the world is going to prove that? I will. What? After doing a thorough background check with Detective Atme and Cain Bullard, we were unable to find any links between them. It's all in the report. Perhaps they were connected through their work. They were both involved in security. Nope. That was blunt. In any case, the only one with a motive was Mr. Delight. Cain Bullard decided to investigate Master Mask and simply mistook it for who he was. Mistook? That's right, mistook. For the Old Norse mistaka, meaning to take in error. That wasn't what I meant. Just who did the victim mistake Master Mask to be? Why, the answer is obvious. Ron Delight, of course. Boy, I'd like to wipe that smug look off this guy's face. Why would the victim mistake the defendant for Master Mask? Don't you already know that? Savani, take a look at this newspaper. Oh, that's the famous Tear of Ammonon. Magnificent jewel. That photo shows the magnificent detective as well, is it not? Furthermore, it also shows an ugly guard, namely the defendant. That defendant! The victim clearly misread the article and, Svani, he got the wrong impression. The impression that the ugly security guard was in fact Master Mask. I see. That was an unusually reasonable deduction. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. You mean this blackmail letter right here? It says bring $50,000. And the handwriting is without a doubt the victim's? There's no mistake. We have an official report to prove it. But I don't see an addressee on this letter anywhere. An addressee? This letter was discovered in Ron Delight's apartment. Mr. Delight didn't show up to the designated place in time. The fact that there was no addressee is irrelevant. I wonder... What's up, Nick? I just had a thought. What if that blackmail letter wasn't meant for Delight? Wow! Do you have any evidence of that? For some reason, I just can't shake the feeling that there's something not quite right about this blackmail letter. Well, everyone? Are you quite satisfied? It was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. What do you mean by that? Oh my, I was certain you were already aware. Sonny! KB Security has a lot of security info in all sorts of companies. And since I was security team chief, I stole data from the company. Kane Bullard had yet to forgive young Mr. Delight. Which is why he sent him that letter upon mistakenly believing he was a thief. Here's the file that we discovered in Mr. Bullard's office. Evidence that Mr. Bullard was receiving money through blackmail. However, isn't this a bit odd? Why did the defendant pay Mr. Bullard the money, even though he wasn't actually Master Mask? On that point, there was an unfortunate bit of chance. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite inexcusable. The defendant truly believes he was Master Mask. Do you really think that story's going to hold up? That assertion is not merely my own, I'm afraid. What do you mean? I have here a memo from Ron Delight's wife, Desiree Delight. Well, honey thinks he's Master Mask. Don't you feel sorry for him? Please don't think too badly for him. Well, Mr. Wright. Was he trying to act like Miss Delight just now? I thought he was actually pretty convincing. That's why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. Hey. Now that's just your imagination talking. Come now, Sir Lawyer. I'm afraid imagination isn't the right word for it. This is a deduction, result of carefully applied reasoning. Can we hear that careful reasoning for ourselves? It's a long story, and better saved for another time. Very well, another time. Those so-called long stories usually aren't all too long. At least, not in my experience. So you're going to try to connect Detective Abby to Mr. Bullard, right? Yeah, that's right. Hopefully it won't require surgery either. In that case, you'll need to talk about the blackmail. It's true. Was that blackmail letter really intended for Ron? So if you don't have enough information, you should press him for more testimony. Maybe I'll be able to shake some contradictions loose that way. Alright, let's see. I don't get it. He had no points of contact whatsoever. I kind of doubt it. I really doubt that. Besides, it was Mr. Bullard who had the blackmail letter and sent it. I can't take that as certain. Yes, there's my link.
Objection!
Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atme? Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's alright. When you said that this letter was addressed to Rhonda Light, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. Contradiction? I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets off saying things like that. You don't want to talk. It sounds like these. Men are made to express themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior? Indeed. Time to man up, Mr. Wright. Show us the contradicting evidence, the content of the blackmail letter. You want me to show that? How about... Well, then let's look at this newspaper, shall we? Tear of Emma. Let's see. This is the contradicting evidence.
Take that!
Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. It contains a picture of the Tear of Emanon, the stolen jewel. What about it? The problem is this jewel's color. Color. I'm not much for discussing color myself. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. But red? Which means, the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the Tear of Emanon that Master Mass stole at all!
Objection!
And your point is, Mr. Wright. So you were trying to say that the blackmail letter was intended for someone else? That's what you're trying to say, right, Wright? Was that what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Wright? Well, is that what you're trying to say, right, Nick? Yes. This is who Kane Bullard actually was blackmailing. Look at me. Naturally, it was you, Detective Atme. Do you have some sort of basis for that claim? You have been personally involved in every single Master Mass case. And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen. And received a jewel as your reward. A jewel? Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring! That is the diamond referred to in the letter. Which means that King Bullard wrote the letter in order to blackmail you! Order of the court! Order, I say... It seems you've gone too far in a child's praise, Mr. Wright. Uh-oh. I don't like the way he said that. King Bullard blackmailing Luke Atme? Are you for real? Yes, I am. Nick, come on, stand up to him! Then answer me this. The blackmail letter contains the following passage. You don't want your identity revealed to the world. Yes, it certainly does. King Bullard threatened to make Luke Atme's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep secret. So what was this identity? Atme killed King Bullard because he was afraid his secret would be known. What was that identity he wanted to keep secret? That's all it comes down to, Nick. The identity that Luke Atme wanted to keep secret was his identity as a blackmailer. Luke Atme was a blackmailer.
Objection!
Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that King Bullard was the one blackmailing Luke Atme. Are you saying that Luke Atme was blackmailing someone else on top of that? You have to admit, that does sound a little odd. It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes any sense. King Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atme. But Rhonda Light was also blackmailed by a certain someone. So did you start receive blackmail letters starting after this incident? Yes, just a few days after the Tear of Emanon heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I received plans from some sort of very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans. Detailed plans? In which case, that would mean that Rondelight was actually Master Mask. That is what we were claiming. Someone else came up with the plans, and had Rondelight steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Luke Atme. Silence! Now I see. It's all becoming clear. What is it? When you were in the grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless with the tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong? How did you... You say that I, Luke Atme, was blackmailing Rondelight? In which case, would naturally have known all about the relation to Master Mask. Well, yes. Rondelight started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned over secret that he committed the first crime. Good point. Certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise. In that case, let's see some hot, bitter evidence. During the first crime, how did Luke Atme know that Rondelight was Master Mask? Well, if you look at this clipping, I think I see it. See what? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets in lots of mischief trying to be the center of attention. What do you mean? This newspaper clipping. There's a picture of you and Rondelight in his guard uniform. It seemed that Master Mask didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket. That sounds far too stupid to be true. Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. That's when you figured it out, Mr. Atme. That's when you learned that under his mask, Master Mask was really Rondelight. Yeah. What the? Wasn't he supposed to be Master Mask? Not only that, it looks like he wasn't even an ace detective. Can't believe it. He was just a slimy blackmailer. What a fraud, trying to pass himself off as an ace detective. Why, you? How dare you expose me like that? Is that a confession? Why, I mean, I haven't blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm a famous and proud ace detective, and I'm also Master Mask. Why can't you understand that? I'm afraid you are neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity. What, you? How dare you even compare the pockets of to fail it? Only that's what I tried to do something yourself. That was a big monster. You're fools. I say, none of you can even compare with each other. Just the circles go on. There's desecrating me. This is great. I'm not gonna have to black. That's enough to make one laugh. It would seem we've finally gotten to the real answer. Wow, he exploded. That was quite a performance by Mr. Atme. Bailiff, please prepare a cell for Mr.
Objection.
Atme. What? The hammer that strikes too fast is no time to aim. What do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my sentence. Allow me to say one thing. I will be the one to judge. You don't get much more in your face than that. It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Wright. Where do you... It's true that you've proven a lot of things. Things like Luke Atme was a filthy blackmailer. And that he wasn't that Lordly Taylor the night of the murder. That's right. That's why he was the one that killed Mr. But there's still one thing you have yet to prove. What's that? Just because he wasn't at the warehouse didn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove that this pitiful excuse for a man was at KB Security, then I don't see how the verdict can be delivered. No way! I forgot! Order the court! Mr. Wright? This is it. This is the final round. This has got to prove Mr. Abney was at the bowler's office that night. But can you really prove that? It's long enough, Mr. Trite. I want to hear your answer. At night, Luke Abney was at KB Security, and the defense... I literally only get one shot. And as proud as I am to say it, with all the evidence I have to show it, all the evidence that I have in my court record, I'm proud to say I can't prove it. I can't prove it. Just as I thought. But, if we hear more of Detective Atmey's testimony...
Objection!
Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Trite. What do you mean? I won't allow for any more testimony. That's what I mean. What? Have you forgotten? Luke Abney here was here after we interrupted his own trial. And you have failed to prove that he committed the murder. I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial. And face his guilty verdict for Master Mask. No! Well now, Solaya! Seems that love wins out in the end after all. I'm the ace detective and also Master Mask. I'm afraid we'll verify that. Just as Ronda Light will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with full force of my ace detectiveness. Come on. It's close. Order in the court. It's enough deliberation over this witness. I can't believe this. At this rate, Ron is... I'll give up now, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We can look for more evidence. By then, it'll be too late. Huh? Why? Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law. Double jeopardy? Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in the court, the defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. This is a fundamental rule of all courts, and it applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else. Mr. Abney will be found guilty in the matter of minutes. Guilty as Master Mask, which means he will be innocent as far as the murder of King Bullard is concerned. No way! The fact that you were unable to prove Mr. Abney's guilt of the crime here means that he will never again be tried as King Bullard's murderer. I messed up. Now there's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent, the real killer, Luke Abney, will go free. You have cross-examined every statement the witness was made here today. And so long as there is no more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare that there is no further questioning of this witness. Are there any objections? I hereby end the cross-examination of Luke Abney.
Objection!
I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were in the child, is this what is on your report card every year? I have poor hearing and often make mistakes as a result. How did you... Phoenix, raise up your head up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer is someone who smiles, no matter how bad it gets. That voice. No way. Long time no see, Phoenix. Mia! This is the true power of the Curate channeling technique. I know that it's really Maya who's standing before me. But right now, she's my mentor, Mia Fey. Now, let's do this. But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. Without any more testimony, I can't cross-examine... Not yet. The testimony's not over yet. What do you mean? Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. Yes, that's true, but... Unfortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks. Well, now, Sir Lawyer. Seems your love wins out in the end after all. I'm Ace Detective as well as Master Mask. My verdict will verify that. Mrs. Ron Delight will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my Ace Detectiveness. Yes, but these comments appear to have no importance whatsoever. Very well. Then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is that all right with you, prosecutor? Is something the matter, Mr. Godot? Nothing. Ah, so lawyer. Looks like you're one step too late. If you think such falsehood will do anything to me, then look at... Let's hear it. Huh? It's true that the witness made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination. What, Mr. Godot, what are you... Very well then, look at me. I'll allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks. The defense would like to hear why you declare the defendant to be the true murderer. So please, give us one last bit of testimony. Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance. Yes, Chief. The last testimony. Indeed, it is true that I was the Lolita. I had the leaves to see about another vitally important job request. I would have known the date beforehand, so I had his photograph ready. My brilliant deduction was not what informed me of the true culprit was Rhonda Light. And thanks to the keycard and wallet, it is abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make the deduction that the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprint on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he had sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was running his Master Mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmailer done. The victim merely mistook the color of the jewel. It's right. Therefore, all the evidence points to that poor boy. His testimony actually seems to hold up pretty well. The witness's early remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All of his points have been explained, and none of them seem to contradict anything. But of course. But how did you know about the emergency buzzer? Police investigation documents went directly through me. And I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, Sir Lawyer. Are you going to make even more trouble for us now, Sir Lawyer? I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright. Yes, sir, Your Honor. Cannot postpone Luke Atmy's trial any longer. This is your last chance. Hang on a sec, just one chance? Ha! Seems that the party is about to begin. Well, Phoenix, there's no evidence that contradicts that testimony. So it would seem. What do you mean? So it would seem. Listen, Phoenix, pointing out contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? At any rate, this is our last chance. If you can't point out a case-breaking contradiction, you'll lose. That's all there is to it. Cup number 17. The last cup. It seems like the time has come to end this trial. I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony. And I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Which means all I can do is find the contradictory remark and press it. Remember, you only get one chance. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your final cross-examination. I only get to press one thing. Indeed, it is true that I was not a Lolita. I had leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph ready. My brilliant deduction was what informed me of this true culprit was Rhonda Light. And thanks to the keycard and wallet, it had been abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprint on it. Why? The victim would have left fingerprints if he had sounded it. It's the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his Master Mask outfit, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmail letter, the victim simply mistook it for the color of the jewel. Hang on a sec. Hang on a minute. This is the contradiction. This is it. Nothing else. I have no evidence to prove it. But this is the fatal contradiction. Mr. Atme, about this last remark.
Objection.
You still don't get it, do you, Wright? This isn't the time to be pressing the witness on every last statement. I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Godot. What? Mr. Atme, you said that you have finally admitted that you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder. How could you say that? Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atme? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing the Master Mask outfit. Is that correct? Indeed. That's what I said. My deductions are absolutely foolproof. More like your deductions prove you're a fool. I'm sorry. Whatever do you mean? For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty. When exactly did you learn the fact that Ron Delight was dressed as Master Mask when he went to the scene of the crime? But that was just a few hours ago. Back when my sixth cup was looking at me with a cold stare. Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention that before? I'm sorry, I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. That's right. The defendant has yet to tell anyone this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should have known that this is those who have been watching this trial. Do you understand now, Detective Atme? There's no way you should have known about that! You were in the next courtroom being tried as Master Mask. And so then enlighten us. How did you know about this piece of information? Come on, this detective must have known about it. Probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand. And it's those chances that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. Delight was wearing a Master Mask outfit. That was one and only one way for Detective Atme to have found that out. Only one way, you say. Please remember, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. For a second, my client witnessed a real killer.
Objection.
But Mr. Delight never saw him. There's no way to tell whether or not the real killer was Luke Atme. It's with this statement that I'll turn this case on its head. Just what are you implying? Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you'll turn that statement around, it stands to follow that the real killer was also seen Ron Delight. Impossible. Exactly. Detective Atme, you saw Master Mask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed King Bullard and assaulted Ron Delight. That was when the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. What? Oh, not again. Take a good look, anyone. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself! Here I am, the tragic clown! That's the same line you gave yesterday. But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time. What an awfully complicated incident. King Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atme, who was in turn blackmailing Ron Delight. And upon killing his blackmailer, Luke Atme tried to frame Ron Delight, and then claimed to be guilty as Master Mask in order to escape his true crime. And to that end, he came up with this plan. To use the double jeopardy rule when making his alibi. At any rate, it would seem we finally found the truth. Excuse me? I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. Besmirching him with the title of murderer. That is not me! Oh, I didn't realize you were there. Why wouldn't he be? About the verdict. I know. You never committed any murder. That's right. I'm so glad you understand that. I really am Master Mask! What? So, thanks for the trial yesterday. I'm innocent now, right? What was it you said? Double jeopardy? What was that you mentioned? Now you mention it. I've been careless. Careless? What do you think, Mia? And the defense says the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. A defendant can never be tried twice for the crime in which he was found innocent. Then, Master Mask is really innocent? For now, it would seem so. For now. Now then, this court finds the defendant not guilty. And now the whole world knows he's Master Mask. Boy, this is really lucky. Wait, that isn't good after all. You see, the whole thing is I'm still Master Mask. Anyway, all that aside, you did it, Nick. Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah, it's because Maya doesn't call me much these days. Oh? I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of lost these days. You mean about becoming the master of the Gray Channel at school? Becoming the master means saying goodbye to her mother. You mean Misty Faye? Watch over her, will you, Phoenix? Oh, of course. Well then, see you around. Mia. Mr. Wright! I don't know what to say. Congratulations, Mr. Delight. Thank you so much! No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore, though, now that I'm in. Come on! Just be happy already! Maya! You've been cleared of the murder charges and got off as Master Mask to boot! But in this exchange, I lost everything. Huh? What do you mean? Stealing security information from KB Security, becoming Master Mask. I did it all for one reason. For her. You mean your wife, Desiree? She hates criminals more than anything. Come to think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she? She's always said how she hated sneaky criminals. I knew that, but once I got fired from KB Security and lost all the money I had, she wouldn't have had any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure. So that's why you became Master Mask? Yes, but it's all over now. A broken bowl can never be put back together. That's not true, right, Nick? Right. Really? Can we go back to the way things were? We'll be fine, and Nick can prove it. I can? I kinda wish you would check with me first. Mr. Delight, even if a bowl is broken, there's always a way to put it back together. See? It can be fixed.
Take that!
The sacred urn. Desi was the one who found this. Desiree, your wife. She's always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything. There you are! Mr. Light! You did it, Ronnie! You're innocent! I'm so happy! Thank you! I appreciate that, but, I suppose you don't want anything to do with me anymore, do you? Ronnie! Why didn't you just talk to me about what was going on? I had no idea you quit KB Security. I never imagined that you were really Master Mask either. Mr. Light, what are you going to do now that you know? You're not going to really leave him, are you? Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever let a wonderful man like him get away? After all, my bike's really fast. So fast that no way that he could ever get away. But didn't you say you hated criminals? Huh? Oh, I only hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky. Like that detective. I see. My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them, like a man. I just love it, man. It's so chivalrous. Chivalrous? I know what's right about you. Every day I spend with you is filled with thrills and excitement. Desi. Desiree. You really do love Ron, don't you? Nicky boy. Yes? I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us. Oh, well, take care of yourself. You too, Nicky boy. Hey, Mr. Nick! Mr. Mike! Congratulations! Talk about bad timing. Mr. Nick, how could you, with a numbhead's wife, in front of Mr. Meyer? No, you got it all. I'll never forget you. So just as the case came to a close, so too did my consciousness. Ron said, broken bowl can never be put back together. But I know that's not true. I mean, just look. Here's a perfect example of one that was put back together even better than before. For like what? 3 times so far? 4? And with that, we have a 3rd episode unlocked. Recipe for Turnabout. Yep. Hope you're ready for this new one. Baked specially for you. This is Let's Play Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. And I'll see you next time. Next Turnabout.